The Enigma of the Comte de Saint Germain, Europe's immortal alchemist and wonderman. A man walks into a Parisian salon. He's elegantly dressed, with a diamond-studded shoe buckle and a manner both charming and aloof. He dazzles audiences with his violin, claims to have dined with Cleopatra, and whispers that he is centuries old. When asked for his age, he only smiles and replies, "I am as old as time." Who was the Comte de Saint Germain, and why, more than 2 centuries after his death, does his legend refuse to die? The man without a past. Few figures in European history are as shrouded in mystery as the so-called Comte de Saint Germain. Even his birthplace and parentage are uncertain. Some whispered he was the illegitimate son of a Transylvanian prince. Others insisted he was born to a Portuguese Jewish family. Official records are scant, and the man himself only deepened the enigma. He told different people different stories, and sometimes, when pressed, would say nothing at all. Saint Germain first appears in reliable records in the early 18th century, moving through the courts of Europe with ease. He quickly established a reputation as a polymath, speaking a dozen languages, composing music, painting, and above all, practicing the mysterious arts of alchemy and chemistry. But for all his talents, it was his profound air of secrecy that made him irresistible. In the Age of Enlightenment, when knowledge was prized, Saint Germain was the ultimate riddle, an adventurer, a charlatan, or perhaps something more. 2. Alchemy, diamonds, and the philosopher's stone. Saint Germain advertised abilities that defied reason. He claimed to be able to transmute base metals into gold, to purify flawed diamonds, and to create miraculous cosmetics that could preserve youth and beauty. He was, by his own account, a master of alchemy, a science that in his day was both fringe and fashionable. Nobles and monarchs across Europe sought his services. In Paris, he entertained Louis XV with his chemical experiments, promising to replenish the royal treasury through alchemical means. He offered to repair flawed gems for Madame de Pompadour, the king's mistress, sometimes returning them even more brilliant than before. Some whispered that he had discovered the secret of the philosopher's stone itself. But for all his claims, hard evidence was elusive. Skeptics believed him a clever chemist, skilled in sleight of hand and illusion. Others wondered if there was something more, if perhaps Saint Germain was truly in possession of forbidden knowledge. 3rd, the charmer of courts and salons. Saint Germain's charisma was legendary. He was tall, attractive, and impeccably dressed, often wearing diamonds even on his shoe buckles. He moved easily among the elite, charming everyone from Catherine the Great of Russia to Frederick the Great of Prussia. The Italian adventurer Giacomo Casanova, no stranger to intrigue himself, wrote that Saint Germain was the king of impostors and quacks, but also an extraordinary man. Women found him particularly fascinating. He claimed to possess secret elixirs and cosmetics that could keep them young forever. He gave out potions, perfumes, and creams, sometimes with dazzling results, sometimes with none at all. For many, it was the allure of the unknown that mattered most. Saint Germain never seemed to age. Even decades after his first appearance in European society, he looked the same, leading some to call him immortal. When pressed about his age, he would only smile and say that he was hundreds of years old, that he had known Jesus, or that he had attended the wedding at Cana. His refusal to provide a straight answer only added to his mystique. The musician and the artist. Beyond his alchemical and social exploits, Saint Germain was a gifted musician and composer. He played the violin brilliantly and often astonished audiences with his improvisations. He contributed music to a number of operas and was known to collaborate with other famous composers of the day. His musical talents earned him admiration in the courts of France, England, and beyond. He also painted and wrote poetry, and was said to possess an encyclopedic knowledge of history and science. Some claimed he spoke with equal fluency in French, German, English, Italian, Spanish, and even Sanskrit and Chinese. A truly cosmopolitan figure in an age obsessed with Enlightenment ideals. The Wonder Man. Fact, fiction, and immortality. It was Saint Germain's strangeness, his refusal to fit into any simple category, that made him famous. He was called Der Wundermann, the Wonder Man, by those who believed he defied the rules of time itself. Rumors spread that he never ate in public, that he could heal the sick, that he had lived for centuries and would never die. Saint Germain embraced these stories. He played the part of the immortal, the mysterious, the all-knowing. It is said that at various times he claimed to have been present at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, to have met Plato, and even to have known the secrets of Atlantis. Even as the Enlightenment advanced and science debunked many old superstitions, Saint Germain thrived. He was a living contradiction, a man who embodied both reason and magic, skepticism and belief. To some, he was a fraud. To others, a living legend. The final decade, alchemy and obscurity. In the last decade of his life, Saint Germain faded from the courts and salons, devoting himself more and more to the study of alchemy. He took up residence in the court of Landgrave Charles of Hesse-Kassel in Germany, where he conducted experiments and wrote treatises on secret knowledge. Despite his age, by then he should have been in his 80s, if not his hundreds, he appeared vigorous and alert. He continued to astound those around him with his energy and wit. Saint Germain died in 1784, according to official records, though rumors of his survival persisted. Some claim to have seen him years later in Paris or Vienna, looking as youthful as ever. Occultists and mystics seized upon the legend, claiming that Saint Germain had achieved immortality and would return when the world needed him most. 7. The legacy, immortal in legend. Long after his supposed death, the legend of the Comte de Saint Germain grew. Theosophists, Rosicrucians, and other secret societies cast him as an ascended master, a being who had transcended mortality and continued to guide humanity from the shadows. He appears in countless novels, films, and conspiracy theories, always as the mysterious immortal, the keeper of secrets. Modern historians generally agree that Saint Germain was a charismatic trickster, a man of extraordinary talent who exploited the credulity and curiosity of his age. Yet the line between truth and legend is blurred. Some of his chemical recipes were genuine, some of his musical compositions survive. But the greatest alchemy he ever performed was transforming himself into a myth. Conclusion: the eternal enigma. Who was the Comte de Saint Germain? An adventurer, a master of deception, a brilliant polymath, or perhaps a little of each? His true origins may never be known. What endures is the legend, the man who claimed to have conquered time, who moved effortlessly among kings and commoners, who left behind more questions than answers. In the end, the Comte de Saint Germain reminds us that mystery is its own kind of immortality. As long as stories are told, the Wonder Man will never truly die.